Let me tell you a true fish story. On a recent bluefish trip I took with a group of my brothers and friends, the weather was not cooperating. It was windy, raining, and the water was choppy. After a long morning in the galley losing our breakfast, our group listened as my brother, who was drinking a beer and holding a 20-pound bluefish, explained why he wasn't seasick. He said that a boat captain told him the best way to stop seasickness was to prevent it before it happens with a few proven remedies that are known in the charter fishing industry. One of them was called the fisherman's cure. There are numerous ways to prevent motion and seasickness. This article will take a look at a few of them. But the first one is to eat right before a boat trip. Others are to always try and stay calm and hydrated throughout the trip. Avoid drinking alcohol. Stay on deck and keep your gaze on the horizon. Carry and use Dramamine. Keep it handy in your tackle box. Wear acupuncture bands or a transderm scope, Zofran patch that are available at most drugstores. If you don't have medication available, the easiest methods for dealing with seasickness are to minimize visualization disorientation and minimize movement. Do this by staying center and positioned low in the boat you are on, and learning to use pressure point 6, which can get you back on your rod catching fish. When we made our way to the head boat at the marina on the Jersey shore, it was questionable if the captain would take us out. The weather was a little rough. He waited for a while, got another cup of coffee, and told us to load up. We would go out. 2 hours into the trip, heading south towards Cape May, New Jersey, the weather got worse. Some of us were losing our breakfast for the second time. Soon, most of us were hanging over the rails chumming for bluefish. There were a few fishermen like my brother and the boat's crew who seemed better to deal with the circumstances. They were catching fish in their rain gear, almost laughing at the rest of us. I was determined to find out ways to deal with seasickness, so this could never happen to me again. Here's what I found. The main reason was that it's a mismatch between what your eyes see and what your inner ear does, which helps control balance and senses. There was a lot of research that I found online into the causes and solutions for motion and seasickness. This article covers practical ways to prevent motion and seasickness and the signs to look for when aboard. Drinking plenty of fluids is crucial, as dehydration can worsen symptoms of seasickness. However, it's important to avoid alcohol, which can disrupt your brain's ability to cope with motion. The fisherman's trick that I mentioned earlier was to lay your head sideways flat on a tabletop and close your eyes for 20 minutes or so. This actually worked for me. Or you can set your sights on the horizon to help orient your senses and reduce the risk of becoming seasick. If a queasy feeling arises, breathe deeply and stay on deck where there's fresh air. By employing these strategies and focusing on heading off the seasickness before it starts is the best way. Embarking on a seafaring adventure often brings about the excitement of travel, but also the dread of potential seasickness. For a lot of fishermen, those rolling waves can stir up more than just water. They can churn your stomach into a queasy state, ruining the day before it gets started. However, you're in luck, as there are proven strategies to prevent motion and seasickness, ensuring your trip is memorable for all the right reasons. What's essential is grasping how to avoid motion sickness from the get-go. To avoid seasickness, consider acclimating to the ocean's rhythm before setting sail, and use seasickness bands that apply pressure to certain points on the wrist to alleviate nausea. Prevention is key, and that means preparing for seasickness and knowing if you are apt to suffer from it. You can munch on ginger-infused snacks to naturally prevent nausea, while staying well hydrated during the day. If you suffer seriously from it, a solid plan includes consulting with a healthcare provider about a preventative medication well before your travel dates. By employing these prevention tactics, you'll stand a better chance at sidestepping the uncomfortable symptoms of motion sickness and thoroughly enjoying your day on the ocean. The strategies on how to avoid seasick and motion sickness symptoms minimize your visual disorientation. In other words, look at the horizon. Focus on the farthest distant point, because the horizon doesn't move and is fixed. You can concentrate on it, and your perception of where you start to change. It's a mental process and you need to focus on it, which makes it a little hard if you're losing your cookies at the same time. So be proactive and prevent yourself from getting sick. Don't look down on the ground or at your feet. If you can't see the horizon from your location, close your eyes for a while and see how that affects your sense of motion. Never look down. Some people who suffer from this affliction think it could be psychological, not all but some, and has to do with the loss of control and a little panic going on with your senses. This was something I heard about a long time ago that is part of Chinese acupuncture medicine, and is related to pressure point number 6, which is located between the two tendons above the wrist that connect muscle to your bone. This pressure point is the one they use to relieve nausea and vomiting. The idea is that these things help to prevent dreaded seasickness holistically. There is no best cure, only prevention, and some relief remedies that people have come up with in the past centuries using the pressure point on your arm. Position your hand so that your fingers are pointing up and your palm is facing you. Then, to find pressure point P6, place the first 3 fingers of your opposite hand across your wrist. Then, place your thumb on the inside of your wrist just below your index finger. You should be able to feel 2 large tendons, tissue that connects muscles to bones, under your thumb. This is pressure point P6. Use your thumb or forefinger to press on this point for 2 to 3 minutes. Use a circular motion. Be firm, but don't press so hard that it hurts. Repeat the process on your other side. For children, seasickness or motion sickness will last around 4 hours, the same as for adults. Lie them down and take sips of water. If you don't have access to C-bands or wristbands that use pressure point acupuncture that are sold in pharmacies, then use the physical pressure point number 6, applying pressure to the area above the wrist. There are many homemade types of remedies, but once you are afflicted, there is not much for someone to do but ride it out. Some cures seem to work on some people and not on others. Scientific research has been done on the causes, and the sickness only lasts for around 4 hours. Embracing prevention with acupressure bands and motion sickness medication. Transderm Scop, transdermal scopolamine, is an anticholinergic drug patch applied to the skin used to prevent nausea and vomiting caused by motion sickness or from anesthesia given during surgery. Relief Band Premier, an anti-nausea wristband, is FDA cleared and helps with nausea, vomiting, anxiety, migraine, and motion sickness from amusement rides, car, air, train, sea, even hangovers. Zofran is available in generic form and has side effects. Over-the-counter drugs like Benadryl is a diphenhydramine-based product and is similar to Dramamine. It would be best if you took these products as a preventative to getting sick. Trippies is a safe remedy for motion sickness for people who travel. Always talk to your doctor to be sure. The next time you go fishing, prevent motion seasickness. Eat right before a boat trip. Stay calm, hydrated, and avoid alcohol. Stay on deck. Keep your gaze on the horizon. Use Dramamine. Wear acupuncture bands or a patch. Stay center and low in the boat, and learn and use pressure point number 6 and spend more time catching fish and making memories that can last a lifetime.